What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Keep It Hoop YouTube channel. So, Norman Powell has been talked about a lot recently, and rightfully so. He's been playing some really good basketball, but not only that, he is a highly sought after guy during this year's trade deadline. Now, I wanted to take a look at his 43-point game against the Pistons and talk a little bit about why so many teams want him and why he has, I guess, been playing well and just kind of taking his game to the next level. Now, before we get started, if you could like, subscribe, share, and comment, it would mean a lot. We are almost at 200 subscribers. Also, follow us on our social media pages. Links will be in the description below. So, right off the bat, the thing that I noticed about him, not only in this game, but just overall, is his ability to play off the ball. And a lot of that comes from his first few years in the league, really just being delegated to a catch and shoot guy. Now, he's shown the ability to do more at times, but until this year, that's kind of just what he was known as, right? A shooter from the corner. Maybe he gets his occasional fast breaks and opportunities to take advantage of mismatches or drive off of the kick out. But for the most part, he kind of was just a shooter. And his I think the ability to play off the ball, not only the ability, but I also want to point out the IQ to know where to be, in certain sets and kind of just reading the defense. Because right here, Chris Boucher is going to set a down screen for him, and he reads that Sadiq Bey is playing above him, right? Which means with Siakam in the corner, the paint is wide open because you have Van Vliet on the other side too. So one call out has to see this, but Norman Powell does a really nice job of reading this and then makes a really nice backdoor cut, gets in good position, strong enough to finish. So again, not only the ability to play off the ball, but the IQ to know where to be. And you see him coming around the screen and shooting. I think the ability to just play off the ball is so important in today's league because a lot of these teams that are going after him are going to be teams with already stars that like to have the ball in their hands and that prefer to have their ball in the hands. So if you bring in a guy midseason who is the same kind of guy, it can be tough to implement a guy like that. But if you bring in a guy like Powell, who is willing to and even excels playing off the ball, it's a lot easier to ease him into the lineup, and it can you don't need to scheme around him or change your offensive game plan, right? And it just makes putting him in there midseason a lot easier. But the thing that separates Norman Powell from a guy like Kyle Korver's in the past, or a lot of these guys who are great at playing off the ball, is that that's not the only thing he can do anymore. Again, in the past, that's kind of what he was labeled as, but this year he's taken his game to another level, and you're going to see throughout this video and throughout this game that he is now able to take advantage of mismatches and that he's no longer a catch and shoot guy. He can, take guys off the dribble and get his own shot. So the ability to do both is I think the thing that's making him so sought after and such a valuable asset for not only the Raptors but the teams that are going after him. And on top of that, he's a solid defender as well, who can use his athleticism and size. You see it again. Toronto's started to run a lot more plays from which didn't happen in the past. You're gonna see a down screen for him, and just really nice screen timing by Chris Boucher, but Norman Powell, quick catch and release, good shot over there. Another thing is, unlike a lot of the catch and shoot guys or guys who play off the ball, he's able to do so in the paint as well. He's comfortable cutting to the rim and finishing strong, and not just again popping out, but also being able to cut and play off the ball within the paint. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Even if you give him the ball now, he can get his own shot. They have Plumlee out there; it's a mismatch. He's able to blow right past them, and you're gonna have games and nights where, let's say he's on a team like Miami. A lot of games it's going to be the offense running through Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, and Bam Adebayo, but you know that's going to lead to him getting a lot of open shots, catch and shoot shots. But if one of those guys is out or just having a bad game, you now have a guy that can take over a bit and also give you stretches of being the primary ball handler and playmaker. So again, that ability to do both is, I think, so underrated in today's game, especially from a guy you can get midseason. You see here again, not afraid to go get the ball, makes a really hard drive, finishes with contact, and he's you don't see a lot of the mid range, but he's shown the ability to score both outside and inside, which again is just another added aspect to his game. At this point he's not young anymore; he's closer to a veteran, and he's seen a lot of different situations and the ability to take and make clutch shots. I remember the Raptors and their organization talking about Powell always being someone who was ready. And going back to their days with Lowry and DeRozan, Powell wasn't a guy that necessarily got consistent minutes throughout the season, but if someone was injured or was going through a slump, Powell would stay ready. He'd go game like 10 games or so without playing, but where you could just slot him in, he'd be ready to play. And while he wasn't the player he is now back then, he was still ready. And I think he's a guy that a lot of teams could use. Again, Miami, Denver, some of these teams that are trying to take their team and roster to the next level to compete with the likes of Brooklyn and LA. Because let's be honest, the Lakers and the Nets are the two teams that a lot of teams are preparing to try to beat. In that arms race of his talent, right? Because those are the two favorites coming out of each conference. So, um, it's we talked about a little bit about this in the past, but like for Miami, it's going to be difficult. I think they're in a tough situation because they love Tyler Hero and rightfully so. I think some Miami Heat fans get a little bit crazy in overvaluing Tyler Hero, but I can understand why they like him. And I know Pat Riley loves him, so it's going to be difficult to trade a guy like Tyler Hero. But if you have a chance to get maybe Powell and or Kyle Lowry, it's a difficult situation because you also don't want to just hold on to your assets for too long, especially when you have the chance to win right now. You don't want to be in a situation like Boston where you look back and say, man, what if we pulled the trigger? And I get Tyler Hero's really good. And with Bam and Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, their window isn't just now, and that they have a chance to win down the road as well. But let's say they get Kyle Lowry and Norman Powell. I think Miami becomes a team that, while the favorites would still be Brooklyn, and I wouldn't bet on Miami, with that roster, I think, and with the addition of Trevor Ariza, they become a team that could possibly beat Brooklyn if something went wrong with Brooklyn, or if Miami just plays their best and Brooklyn struggles for a few games. I could see a situation where Miami wins. Again, it's not expected. I wouldn't put my money on it, but that roster could at least make some noise. Whereas I think currently constructed, I don't think they win this year. And, that's why Pat Riley gets paid. And that's, he's in the situation where he has to make tough decisions. But it is interesting for them to maybe you trade Tyler Hero for a chance to win next year and this year. Or maybe you just kind of plan down the road. And granted, they have the ability to do that again because of Bam and Tyler, but Jimmy and Goran aren't getting any younger either. So definitely, it ultimately comes down to how much Pat Riley values Tyler Hero and what he thinks his potential is, and also how he visualizes this team right now, and compares it to how good he thinks the Nets and the Lakers are. That'll be it for today. Probably going to be doing a podcast tomorrow with some of my friends. Maybe we'll stream that on Twitch as well. Links will be in the description below again for everything, social media, our website, our Twitch and everything. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be back soon. And yeah, stay tuned. Peace.